live from New York. It's a show that is mostly off of vacation. Two people are definitely off on vacation.
I'm on vacation.
You are? Where are you? Where are
Because
you?
we're here.
Are you
this
upstairs?
is our vacation.
We're here.
Here in studio.
We are.
I'm straight. I didn't even go on vacation. I was in the LA offices working, meeting with executives, hobnobbing for our show. I'm stranded.
Well,
you guys
you know what?
and rested. I'm haggard.
We had Pato Award is coming up on the show. We did a little pre-tape with Pato Award. You know what the key is? Pit stops. You take a break and then you come back full speed.
That's right.
That's what me and Brew did.
That's
We
right.
took a break, come back full speed. You worked and then you're like, now you're still, I need new tires still. I need, literally said, I got to go buy new ties.
It's a blizzard. They canceled all the flights.
We stayed in a hotel last night.
And walk in.
You know what I had for dinner? Bottled water. We're starting in Los Angeles. Sorry. The Lakers unveiled a Pat Riley statue, and J.J. Redick's squad honored him with standstill play. Hello. Jaylen and Pritchard both hit for 30. The Lakers only put up 89, Brew. It was the fewest points for a home game in LeBron's Lakers tenure. Okay, Brew, how much faith do you have in the L.A. Lakers?
None.
None.
Zero.
Okay.
As far as winning the championship or getting to the finals, none. All right? They are obviously OKC, Denver, Minnesota, and San Antonio are all on a different level than the Lakers.
Yep.
As of now, the Lakers in the first round would play Houston. They could beat Houston, which is having its own problems. But there's a second round ceiling on these Lakers for a few reasons. Number one, this is not a revelation. This is not going to surprise anybody. They can't defend. Okay? They just can't. And so young, energetic teams like OKC, like San Antonio, even like Boston yesterday, that play hard, that play with a lot of energy and fire and athleticism, give them trouble. The Lakers are ranked 24th in the league in defensive rating. No team, Nick, in modern basketball history, like the last 50 years or so, has won a championship with a defensive rating that low. The only one that come close, because most are in the top 10 defensively when they win the championship.
Yep.
The only one to come close was the 2001 Lakers, who were 21st in the league, but they had Shaq and Kobe and some other guys that could defend when they needed to and really turn it up. So this team defensively is not good. Yesterday, you saw Jaylen Brown had his way. Peyton Pritchard, you just see the highlights right here. He looked like Caitlin Clark yesterday.
Yes.
That might have gone over some people's heads, but he looked like Caitlin Clark yesterday. He was killing them. They couldn't handle him. And then the second thing, Nick, is offensively, they are my turn, your turn. Because their three best offensive players, Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves, are at their best with the ball in their hands. And Luka's not good when the ball's not in his hands. Reeves is okay. LeBron has gotten better, but he's at his best with the ball in his hands. And so even all three of those guys are unselfish. So they're not necessarily shooting it all the time. They may create a nice pass and bucket for a teammate, but the other star is typically standing there watching when Luka has it, or when LeBron has it, or when it's Austin's turn. And so it's too much my turn, your turn offensively. And good defensive teams can guard that, and you saw that yesterday. So, their second round ceiling, that would be a good finish for them.
Well, and so, Brew, here's the thing. I think there's kind of a good, bad, and ugly component for the Lakers right now, and I'll show it to you. The good is they are still, and they have kind of been this LeBron's entire tenure there, as good as any team in the league if the game is going according to script. They are the best team in the league when leading after 3 quarters. And this is something they have been 3 times in LeBron's tenure since he's gotten there, where they've just been the best at this. And so when the game is going the way they want it to, they haven't lost. They're 25-0, and the other teams on this list who have more instances of it are some of the best teams in basketball. So that's the good. That is, if it's close, late, Luka or LeBron can out-execute the opposition. But the bad is, over the course of the entire season, when they play Western Conference contenders or Western Conference playoff teams, they don't do well. They are 9-13 against teams 1 through 10 in the West, and they get beat pretty soundly. And KW, when they play the best teams in the league, either conference top 4, they get bludgeoned.
Yikes.
And that is just evidence. They're just not that class of team. And this is where my frustration grows immensely with the roster construction, because the idea that, well, when LeBron leaves, they're going to be able to, in one offseason, totally revamp the roster. I don't know if that's realistic, which then makes you wonder, wait, like, how many years of Luka Doncic's playoff prime is going to be squandered? And I'm not saying Luka's a perfect player, Brew. I understand he has his limitations, but it is, this team to me is, as you put it, drawing dead against any legitimate championship contender in a playoff series, which means they're drawing dead maybe in round 1, but certainly after round 1. That's what the season has shown us.
Can I show you, get your reaction to this play, bro? So first, Hobbs, can you show just to expound on how bad defensively the Lakers are? And you mentioned 24th defensive rating. Everything is bad. You know, out-rebounded last night, too, and granted, there's a little foul trouble. Or Jackson Hayes left. But everything is bad. But so it's like, maybe it's roster construction. Maybe it's just not how they're built. It's also an element of what you like to say, Brew, like want to. Yeah. So this is the clip that's kind of going around. Luka makes a 3. He makes this. So it's not, there's not a ton to complain about. This makes it 40-39, and then it's just a breakaway for the Celtics. So it's just, it's frustrating to watch Luka. They had 3 techs yesterday, and I know, Tatum put his hand through the basket, and JJ Redick was furious about it. But there seems to be a lack of, want to on defense. Is that fair, bro?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think good defense it does begin with want to, as you said, with tenacity, with energy, with just the desire to do it. But there's also technique. You need a certain level of athleticism and strength. And look, their problem defensively, and that's just a bad look for Luka, and he's done that throughout his career, is complain to the officials. But their problem defensively is their 3 best offensive players aren't good defenders now. And LeBron, just because of age, Reeves is not a good defender, Luka is not a good defender. They can get better just by trying harder, by communicating and talking more. But even still, they're not going to be great. And it's not a well-constructed roster because they just got Luka last year, and he's a difficult player to build around. And they haven't really had the time or the chances to really build around him perfectly.
So I agree, Brew, they haven't had the time to do it perfectly, but this seems haphazard. And this is where I want to divorce. I know when people hear me talking about the Lakers, they associate it with, LeBron and his ability to win. I want to if we all agree this Lakers team can't win a championship, if we just expand it to, are we going to be having a very similar discussion a year from now when LeBron is not on the team? When I watch the Lakers, KW, against the best teams in the league, it feels like, man, there are a lot. Like, if LeBron leaves, how many quality starters do they have to add if we're going to say they can win the title, which you should be able to do in theory if you have one of the 5 best players in the world in his prime? Like, are they 3? Is a championship level Lakers team next year Luka, Austin Reeves, and 3 starters who are not on the roster? And if that's the case, how are they getting those guys? What are they going to do? That would be my concern for the Lakers moving forward, or bigger picture.
Well, their dream scenario, obviously, if they don't have LeBron next year and they've got cap room, they're obviously going to try to go after Giannis. That would obviously help. But Nick, I don't know as much. It's the type of players. All right, you look at Boston right now. That's not a roster that's impressive without Jason Tatum. but it's the type of players that fit together. You can look at OKC. They've got a lot of no-name players, and they just beat Cleveland yesterday without two of their two top players,
Sure.
Jalen Williams and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Detroit. So they need shooters, athletes who can defend, rebounders and defenders. They might not be big names, but guys that are committed to doing those things around Luka Doncic.
You kind of need a new team.
Well, I mean, when Dallas got to the finals, it didn't have a lot of big names outside of Luka and Kyrie.
All right.
No, I'm not. I agree. Just real quick, I agree with you on the lack that it doesn't have to be. Giannis would be great, but you don't get Giannis. I don't think you have to go star hunting. I'm just saying the 3-and-D types of players, the Lakers aren't going to be the only team shopping in that basket in the offseason. And it's just, it feels like they need a bunch of new guys to build, and they had last trade deadline, this past offseason, this trade deadline to add something to it, and they didn't, and they seem to really have all their eggs in the basket of when LeBron leaves, it'll be easier, and I don't know if the foundation's in place would be my concern.
Lakers host the Magic tomorrow night. Meanwhile, on the Celtics side, Jaylen goes for 32, 8, and 7. Celtics win their third in a row. 37 and 19 on the year, good for second in the East. Brew, your reaction.
I would love to hear LeBron's issues with the MVP voting, but there is no one criteria. All right, so every voter kind of comes up with their own. To some, it's who's the best player in the league. Mm-hmm. To others, it's who's the best player on the best team. I have my criteria, and Jaylen Brown meets all of them. So LeBron is absolutely right in that Jaylen Brown should be in the hunt. He's not my MVP right now. I got two guys ahead of him, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Cade Cunningham.
Okay.
All right, and Jokic, I just wonder, he can miss 2 more games to be eligible. Now, obviously, he's a triple-double average. He's good, on pace to become maybe the first player ever, if he does it, to lead the league in rebounding and assist. So he's right there in the hunt. The question is, he's going to make the games. And then Wembanyama can miss, I think, 3 or 4 more games for him to be eligible.
But if the rule didn't exist, what's your top 5?
Well, if the rule didn't exist, but I would look at games played.
Okay.
And I think the fact that Jaylen, among the top 6 candidates, who are Shai, Jokic, Cade, Jaylen Brown, Wemby, and Luka, he has missed the fewest amount of games. So I would put that into consideration. But here's my criteria quickly. Individual dominance and stats. He's averaging 29.7 rebounds, 5 assists, all career highs. All right, so he meets that criteria, great individual numbers. Win-loss record, they're second in the East, 4th best record in the league without Jason Tatum. So that's something. Supporting cast, all right, his second and third best players are Derek White and Peyton Pritchard. All right, so he is the only one, Nick, of all the top candidates, he's the only one who either doesn't have an all-star teammate or another guy averaging 20 or so points a game. All right, so that is something in his favor. And then third, my fourth one's historical significance. It doesn't really factor into this situation with him. But I do think he's right there. And, you know, he's played all but 5 games. And leading, Nick, I thought that they would be in the playoffs. I thought at best they would have a chance to get home court advantage and be in the top 4 in the East. But I never foresaw them being the second best team in the East. So he definitely has a legitimate chance to win this award.
Listen, I didn't think they would have a chance at being in the top 4, Brew. You were higher on them than me. I thought, and the only reason I really thought, they'll make the playoffs is because the paucity or the scarcity of elite teams in the Eastern Conference. Going into the year, all right, their projected win total was 41.5. They were 22-1 to win the East, which was the 8th best, right in the middle of the Eastern Conference odds. And they were 60-1 to win the title, which again, that was 16th best odds. They are now on pace for 54 wins, so 13 wins more than their projected total. And they have the 2nd best odds to win the East and the 4th best odds to win the title. And he's been showing up every damn night. Like, my history in doubting the Celtics and underrating Jaylen Brown in particular is probably, well documented. But the job is to be fair and to evaluate things as they happen. He's been sensational, and Brew has played at a level I did not think he was able to. Like, it wasn't that I thought, if you would have said going into the year, can Jaylen Brown average 29 a game? My answer would have been, well, yeah, if the Celtics are really bad.
Right.
Like that, if in order for him to have the types of numbers that he is having, I would have thought it meant the team is just bottoms out. Somebody's got to score. He's the best player. It's been the opposite of that. They've been awesome. He's been awesome with them. He's been the biggest reason for it. And so, listen, I am not discounting anyone from like the games played standpoint at the moment, unless they are already ineligible for the award. So if it were, we have a very, very similar top five. But for me, it would be Joker, then Shea, then Jaylen Brown, followed by Cade and Wemby fifth, and I would have Luka outside of the top five. As much as I love Luka, the games missed plus the issues that we just discussed, I think are disqualifying at the moment for him to be top five. And so I am, KW, this was more off the air than on the air, your belief that the Celtics could be a team to be reckoned with this year. I remember you saying it to me a few times off the air, and I kind of knocked it down.
Yep.
I have been stunned at how good Boston is and stunned at how good Jaylen is. And so, yes, I think he can win the MVP. I think it will probably take Joker and Shea not reaching the games threshold. But I think he has a strong case against Cade, a strong case against Wemby, a strong case against Luka, and I would have him right now ahead of all three of those guys.
All right, so can I talk about the elephant in the room, and we're going to do a full topic on this later on. He's playing better without Jason Tatum on the floor, bro. Does this affect how Jason Tatum should view his path to getting back on the court, or how the Celtics should view his path?
Well, look, if I'm the Celtics, I leave it up to the doctors and Jason Tatum. So if the doctors, not just the Celtics doctors, but his own doctors, clear him to play, say he's ready, he can go, and Jason wants to play, you got to let him play. Because if you don't, then you could offend your best, or if you think Jaylen's better now, your second best superstar. And so they got to let him play, and I'm sure he's a human being. So he is sitting there, as much as he loves his teammates.
It's weird.
You don't want them to win the freaking championship without you.
It's a little strange.
Or win the East without you,
It's a little strange.
And so let me quickly say this, because this kind of, I think, answers LeBron's question. Why isn't he being heard of more? Because ESPN does their straw poll. They do several for MVPs throughout the season. Jaylen Brown is 6th in the most recent straw poll by ESPN that came out Friday. I think, Nick, that's because many of the voters have become slaves to analytics. His PER is 15th best in the league, 22.3, which is not that high for a star. It's 15th in the league. So right. I think a lot of people are looking at his PER and saying, he can't be MVP with one that low, especially when some of these other candidates have sky-high ones. Yeah, so I think that's a big issue for him.
All right, Celtics in Phoenix tomorrow night. We're going to get to hockey right now. USA wins gold for the first time in 46 years. It's the first gold, Nick, since Lake Placid. This win courtesy of stunning goalkeeping from Connor Hellebuck and a Jack Hughes overtime goal. Canada's Nathan McKinnon with a quote that's making some waves, a little bit of a clickbait quote. So I pulled a brew card. I'm like, let's listen to the whole thing. So here it is. It's been close for a while, USA Canada. They're an amazing, skilled group of players. Just I felt like it wasn't going to be. You guys can be the judge of who the better team was tonight. But they won, we lost. So still not great, but a little more context to be fair to McKinnon. Nick, your reaction to USA's gold medal?
Gosh, I hate that this was my reaction. I really hate any time this is my reaction to anything. I thought of Kevin Wildes.
Wow.
And I didn't like it.
Why?
Because of your great line that I used to make fun of you for, but it's true. I love sport.
Love sport. It was a great day for sport.
I love sport.
I love sport.
Honestly, I'm not going to get on here and pretend not only am I not a hockey expert, I know very little about hockey. I know more about golf and tennis and at this point NASCAR and IndyCar than I do hockey. But I can get wrapped up in a big event and become super invested.
Yeah.
And it was so captivating, such a, obviously a 1980 style underdog, but we were decided underdogs. Also, I then in the lead up to the gold medal game and then after the gold medal game, read more about the makeup of the roster and how it was controversial because they didn't just say, hey, who are the 10 best guys necessarily, but, some more maybe heavy hitters and, trying to build some toughness. I think they said, we have more whiskey drinkers than seltzer drinkers, whatever it was. And to see them pull off this upset, one brother hit the game or score the game winner in the quarters, and then the golden goal in obviously the gold medal game. Hellebuck, as you said, you don't have to be a hockey expert to know our goaltender kicked ass for 2.5 hours on Sunday morning, was just out of his mind. And so I found myself really invested, and I thought it was amazing theater, Brew, and just an awesome sporting event.
Yeah, it was incredible. And this Wildes is like the equivalent of a team beating our USA basketball players in the Olympics, right? It's not impossible. It's happened before. But Canada's won 9 gold medals. Like, they are the best nation in the world in hockey. And so for us to beat them, it would be like Serbia or somebody beating us.
That's why they're so upset.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And look, it's a one-game thing. It obviously was a close game. And so you'd rather him be more gracious in losing. But I totally get the competitiveness. This is the Olympics and how he feels. But you mentioned Hellebuck, Nick, and I got to give him props because, again, I'm not like I'm the hockey expert, but I do know that the guy has been criticized for he's inconsistent in the playoffs. With the Winnipeg Jets, he hadn't been able to get it done, and win it all. And here he is in you talk about a big game, and he stops 41 of 42 shots, and some of them were just spectacular fashion. So I felt great for all the Team USA and really all of the American sports fans, but Hellebuck in particular. And can I say this quickly?
Yeah, go.
Because I've been into the Winter Olympics. We obviously talk more football, NFL, basketball, NBA than anything else. But these athletes, not just the hockey players, the skiers, the speed skaters, the figures, they are, and I'm thinking particularly skiers and the speed skaters, they are incredible athletes. And they only get highlighted in America every 4 years. But my wife and I have been watching it. We're into it. They really should I wish they got more love, because what they do is phenomenal, and it's just as impressive as the guys we talk about in football and basketball every single day. So I just want to give props to all the Olympians in these winter sports.
Brew lives in New Jersey, Nick, and when you are back on the East Coast, we'll go to a New Jersey Devils game to see Jack Hughes, new American hero.
I'm down.
You got to treat us, though.
It's
like your home state. Go.
Can I add one thing on Brew's point? It was, and I know this is cliche, a lot of people say something similar, like every 4 years we become experts in all these sports that we otherwise, now I'm talking about hockey, but curling or speeds. There were 2 moments from these Winter Olympics that I really feel like in the sports part of my brain, I'll remember forever. The golden goal that we're talking about here, And the Alyssa Liu's gold medal routine, I didn't, and now I feel like I'm an Alyssa Liu expert. I've read all about her father, her family, her story. I didn't know anything going into it, but it was so captivating. And it is a good reminder as the World Cup is coming up, which does happen to be on Fox, so maybe a little free plug or a plug for our company. Even if that is not your go-to sport, when the event is that important and matters that much for that many people, you get roped in.
Oh, yeah.
You can't help but feel the draw of it. And so, yeah, I thought it was spectacular. And I think it's really cool that the U.S., for the first time, this is the first U.S. gold medal in hockey in my life, guys.
Yeah.
In my life.
Oh, wow.
Well, congratulations
Not
to
mine.
all the gold medalists, including women's hockey also won. So
Yes.
we swept. Right now, over-under totals have opened up. These 4 teams are all at 10.5, and we're starting with the champs. Seahawks at 10.5, Brew. Here are their non-divisional opponents. Home against the Cowboys, Giants, Chiefs, Chargers, Bears, and Patriots. Super Bowl rematch. On the road against Broncos, Raiders, Eagles, Commanders, and Panthers. And obviously, you have to play the NFC West. So, Brew, we'll start with you. Over or under for the champs, 10.5.
Well, that is a heck of a schedule. All right.
Supposedly not that hard. Strength of schedule is only like 14. So
that doesn't even mention their division.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the division there, 2 of those teams, the Rams and the Niners, are going to be very good teams. So, look, they do have some cap room this year. I think they bring back, Kenneth Walker III. I'm sure they're going to bring him back. I'm not sure about Rashid Shaheed. Other teams may go after him. Reek Woolen, we'll see, probably bring him back, I would guess. But they're fairly young, so I think defensively they're still going to be strong. Obviously, they're going to have their offensive weapons. And Darnold is in his prime as a top tier 2 quarterback. And so I do think that I'm going to take the over despite that tough schedule. I think they're going to be right there in the mix again next year.
Yeah, I really, really trust the coach. I really, at this point, certainly in the regular season, nobody can deny it. And he's Super Bowl MVP, or not Super Bowl MVP, but just won the Super Bowl. You got to trust the quarterback as well. And here's the other thing, KW. Super Bowl winners do well unless their quarterback gets hurt or retires or changes teams. Like, if you look at all the teams that would not have hit the over of Super Bowl winners, the Rams, Stafford got hurt. The Eagles, it was a weird one because Foles was a backup who won the Super Bowl. Sure. And Peyton Manning retired with the Broncos. So Super Bowl winners, while only the Chiefs have actually defended the title in the playoffs, all the other ones have made it back to the playoffs unless their quarterback got hurt. So yeah, I think Seattle is really building something. And the other piece of it, we didn't talk much about him at all, but last year, or the year before last, I guess, in Mike McDonald's first year there, they won 10 games.
True.
They're one of the only teams since the playoffs have expanded to 14 teams to win 10 and not make it.
The other thing I like, a big margin of victory guy, they were plus 191.
Yeah.
So I've always got my antennas up for teams so that we're barely squeaking out wins like the Bears. But teams that were blasting teams consistently, and we know that defense is going to be good, very confident in the Seahawks. 14th toughest schedule officially, but that also is because the Chiefs' win total is down. We actually think that they're better than they were. Next up, the silver medalists. New England Patriots, not an easy schedule this year. Ooh. And after going undefeated on the road last year, this upcoming road schedule looks brutal. Nick, we'll start with you. The Patriots have the 6th toughest schedule. Look at the road. Bears, Lions, Chiefs, Chargers, Seahawks, Jags. Yikes. 10.5 for the Patriots.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Obviously, that schedule's brutal. So they go from what was the softest schedule this millennia. Forget this century. This whole millennia, it's the softest schedule, bro. And to that
Broncos were right there.
And I'm going to, it's interesting you say that because it's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is the Broncos didn't even have the easiest strength of schedule this season, and the Patriots had the easiest strength of schedule this millennia. So, tomato, tomato, I guess. But I'm going to say something else that is, and Brew, how much I have liked Drake May, how much I've believed in Drake May, how, that I said in Halloween that he's just top 5 quarterback moving forward. But I'm concerned because I've never seen Drake May play well in 2026. I've never seen it.
Super Bowl.
I'm not saying it can't happen.
I saw him in Super Bowl.
I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying since the calendar turned from 2025 to 2026,
Yeah.
I've seen him play 5 games. And I've never seen him play well. So until I see it,
I didn't see
just
Patrick
don't
Mahomes
know
play
what
well in
to tell you.
2026 either, if that's where we're going.
I knew that's fine.
I just haven't seen it. I mean, I have faith.
You want to go after a friend of the show who's
You're going after a friend of the show.
You go right ahead.
Drake May's a friend of the show.
Oh, really? Drake May's been on the show?
He doesn't have to be on the show to be a friend of the show. A lot of people haven't been on the show. Whit hasn't been on the show.
So I don't think you answered over or under. Are you saying under?
Under.
This is a tough one for me, Wild. This is a tough one. Look, I was the last guy on this show to believe in the Patriots.
Yeah. You were very late.
Yeah, very late.
Down to Friday.
And then I picked them to win the Super Bowl, and obviously they lost. I feel you, Nick. I'm not mad at your under, because that schedule is tough. But I do think Drake May, while I was a little astounded by his struggles in the playoffs, I think he's going to learn from that, and I think he's going to be better next year.
Correct.
Right? His numbers and all that might not be better, but I think he'll be a smarter quarterback and make fewer mistakes.
Perfect.
Certainly than he did in the playoffs. I think Vrabel is a very good coach. I think good chance they upgrade their receiving core. I think a guy like even Travion Henderson will realize, what do I need to work on to become better? So I just think their culture is what it is. Look, it's a good chance they might win 10 games, but I'm going to say the over. I'm going to say they go like 11-6, and so I'll take the over slightly.
I see quickly.
KW, before you go, can I just ask you a question, KW?
Sure.
Because here's the flip side of that Seahawks graphic, and this is one of your oldies' favorites. The Super Bowl losers win total the following year.
Not great.
A lot, and one of those good years, is a supernatural funk happened. There's a lot of, what happened to that team? So I'm curious how, because you're the biggest believer in hangovers. That's why you just drink Topo Chico with lime, no liquor in it, because you're so scared of hangovers. So where does this land for you, buddy?
The Niners ones, though, quickly, those are due to injuries. Right, those were due to injuries. So you take 2 of those off.
But there's still a lot of them. I mean, the Patriots 11-5 was pretty good, but look, if we went 10-7, I wouldn't be shocked, and that would officially be the under. We played 300 days of football. Vrabel is welcoming people into the locker room. It's like, hey, we're at day 305. It's a lot of football. I believe in the Super Bowl hangover. We are a thin team where, we were a great run defense. I was like, and then everyone's like, well, look at this run defense. No, you're not good. And Milton Williams was hurt, and it falls apart. Hey, now Drake May can't throw the ball down the field. Kayshon Boutte was out. We can't throw the ball down the field. So we are a thin roster because we were depleted by Belichick's bad drafts. We played a lot of football. Bills, a weird home loss. The Seahawks, maybe the Prince. The Chargers, we barely beat. I can't believe we lost game. The Lions and maybe the Chiefs late. 10-7.
Wow. Do you know what this is, Nick?
10-7.
Wilds, you hate being the hunted.
That's
you
true.
You can't stand being the hunted.
That is true.
You want to be the hunted.
In my real life, too. Chiefs, I hate to say this, Nick. I was surprised they are at 10.5 after a 6-win, 11 loss.
Yeah, because you're way too down on them, KW.
I mean, they had 6 wins.
That's why you're.
It's six wins last year. 5th hardest schedule. So you thought the Patriots schedule was bad. Look at the Chiefs schedule, 5th hardest. Now, granted, you got the Cardinals, Colts, Jets, Patriots, 49ers at home. That's actually not too bad. On the road, Bengals, Bills,
I don't
Dolphins,
think it's that
Falcons,
hard.
Rams, Seahawks. Well, I think it's Broncos, Chargers, and the resurgent Raiders
Yes.
that you got to be a little bit worried about. But fifth hardest officially.
Yeah. So listen, I understand the Chiefs were awful last year, but I do think that their number being the same as the two teams that played in the Super Bowl last year for next year is instructive. That UKW, I don't know where Brew is, but UKW might be a little too down on the Chiefs because even though you're beloved in Kansas City and believe in Patrick Mahomes sometimes,
of course,
I think you expect them to have a really rough season next year. I do not. I think that now, do I think they're going to win 13 games? I wouldn't say that, but I know that Andy Reid, since he's been with the Chiefs, here's how many games they have won each year. Patrick Mahomes was not there for all of those years. So every year of Mahomes' career prior to last year, obviously they would have hit this over. But also, 3 of the years before Mahomes got there, they would have hit this over. He is still an excellent coach. They are going to actually, be able to add real impact guys in the draft because of the disastrous season. And obviously, Brew, if Patrick is out until week 6, that changes everything. I do not believe that's going to be the case. I believe Patrick Mahomes is going to be dancing at Travis Kelce's wedding, is going to be starting for the Chiefs in week 1. And so I will go with the over for the now all of a sudden truly hunters, the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah, pardon me.
Look, I may change my mind going into the regular season.
This is all just in pencil for the record.
But right now, I'm going under. I'm not convinced that Mahomes is going to be dancing, as you like to say, at Kelsey's wedding. And maybe he will dance, but that's different than playing football week 1. So I'm questioning whether he's there for week 1. And then, Nick, how much does that, the injury affect him? Does it take him 4 or 5 weeks to get back to form? Remember, this year running was a big part of his game. Yeah. And so that's probably not going to be the case, certainly initially next year. And so right now I'm going with the under in pencil.
I want to believe. I want to believe. You got to be able to run.
What's your answer, KW?
I'm probably going under. I want to go over. I want to believe in Patrick Mahomes. But, I still haven't done the full, as much as we've talked about the Chiefs, we really haven't done the full autopsy on why they were so bad last year. Even if Mahomes didn't get hurt.
Right, they were 6
and I'll give you 2 more wins. You say late in the year, beat the Raiders and the Titans. Then you're only at 8. And the wins weren't good. Beat the Giants, beat the Raiders, beat Washington. There wasn't Detroit and the Colts, who were good at the time, or and the Ravens, but we didn't know how good the Ravens were.
And the Ravens, that's it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.